What's going on, everyone? I hope you are doing good out there. I'm trying to get this video out this morning. I'm gonna try to record it, and if I get it out, then that's cool. Maybe not, but just the tech problems have already started with Mercury being almost stationary, and they're pretty bizarre, especially with the Taurus eclipse on my ninth. It's very weird stuff going on there. Just a lot of very unexplainable kind of circumstances, like things that just don't really make much sense. But thank God we're still here, so we'll try to say something about this week if we can. Maybe not, maybe just for my edification. But I hope you're doing good. Anyway, thank God for wisdom and understanding that we can look into this mystery to the glory of His name. In Jesus' name, amen. I pray that sincerely today, and hopefully we'll be able to understand something about this week. I'll have to put this, the thing that's really getting me is I have I can use the internet on my computer, but not on my phone, even though it's the same configuration, and not the same configuration, it's the same router. Probably it's differently configured, so it won't work with my phone, and it only somewhat works on my computer, and it's very odd. It feels very, very fated. We got the Mercury and the eclipse fate story really playing out here, and we have Venus just moving into Aries, so a very direct, fiery Venus. So probably we're going to be doing what we can, even kind of despite the circumstances. But okay, let's make sure my chart's set up. That looks fine. Okay, so we'll just start going through the week. So today's Monday. Mercury is slowing down in Gemini, and really kind of let's see. So there's the out of bounds of the ecliptic. I think that's the right term. That movement. It's the north and south of the ecliptic. Mercury is moving. So this is kind of the biggest story of this week, really. Mercury's slowing down and moving towards the ecliptic. So we have this moment here where the moon is with Mercury, and Mercury is slowing down and moving downwards and then down backwards towards the ecliptic. So I've been predicting that this will be kind of a bumpy ride, especially for the mercurial types. It's because, really the best times with Mercury is when Mercury is moving quickly and north of the ecliptic. Those seem to be the most ordinary good mercurial type times. But with Mercury now over the next 2 weeks, staying at the first 5 degrees of Gemini and moving downwards, we'll have to be more introspective, more internal, just kind of being okay with things not going according to ordinary business, I guess. And the sun will be on the north node the whole time, so it is kind of extreme. Mercury and the sun are going through kind of an extreme circumstance in a way, and they're coming together at the first degree of Gemini, and that doesn't happen until this day. Okay, and just so you can see it, Mercury just continues to go south of the ecliptic, and then this very, very swift pivot here doesn't happen until the beginning of June, or mid-June even. And Mercury will be crossing the ecliptic not until July. So from now, the beginning of May, until the beginning of July, it's 2 full months. We're going through this whole story about the Mercury theme. And Venus will have moved all the way into Gemini at that time as well. Okay, and that's really the big story. Like Venus is moving fast now. She's in Aries. We'll be moving through there. And this, like, once the Mercury stuff, unfortunately, like, once the Mercury stuff kind of um, returns to normal business type, that kind of time people take for granted, those kind of times, that's kind of like what when Mercury's moving north of the ecliptic, past the ecliptic, kind of seems to be uh, what people think of as normality, normal times even. But point being, even when Mercury is out of that, Mars will be moving into Taurus to join the North Node in Uranus, and within probably 2 weeks, Mars will go over the 10th degree of Taurus, which will activate the eclipse. So it'll be really extreme in different ways, even when this Mercury thing is over. So we just kind of have to be aware as you can, rather than having like more like a one-tracked, progressive, forward-thinking kind of mind. It's more of an awareness mind, and just like seeing what comes up. So Mercury's really slow. So I mean, we do in a sense like make some kind of progress, but it's really just like setting the stage for what this Mercury retrograde story will be for you. Okay, so that's that. Jupiter moves into Aries on the day of the looks like a couple days before the eclipse. So it's the Virgo moon that Jupiter moves in. Mercury stations retrograde that day. Mars is really close to Neptune all week, so if Mars is an extra problematic planet for you, or it's especially activated, there'd be what more confusing situations kind of arising, and people being like projecting because of their fear and stuff like that. During the George Floyd protest, Mars was pretty much right here, so this is the Mars return of all that. So I mean, when the moon gets, we'll get to that with the moon, but it does get less clear with these kind of problematic situations, and yeah, it just can be really kind of nasty stuff with that. People thinking they know what they're doing, and actually just destroying things for no reason type stuff. So that's kind of going to be coming up. Collective action, kind of collective violence, like a certain like spiritual admission of violence type situations. And with Jupiter, Jupiter won't be with Neptune when that happens. Jupiter will be in Aries, but just don't be confused about what you're doing, and don't be with people you don't trust, really, for sure, on this time. Okay, let's go to the moon transit. That's like mostly everything, but let's kind of see how the moon stuff will play out this week. So today, as we go throughout the day, the moon will be on Mercury. Actually, moon's already past Mercury right now. Venus has moved into Aries, and so that's being ruled by Mars and Jupiter. So there's a Jupiter-Mars energy going on with the Venus stuff, right? If that makes sense. So the moon will be applying to Mars all day with the slide of Mercury. So probably it's still pretty intense, pretty uncomfortable. Personally, like I've been really, especially during the eclipse, I did not feel good. And the sun is like really important in my chart, so it's like, and it was like hitting my chart really hard, and all this kind of stuff. But the Mercury Mars stuff was like, it was like hurting my hands, like just like being like the Mercury Sun Moon configuration during that time was like making my hands hurt, and I felt like my energy was really low, and like at times like I just felt like, just very very loosely detached to this world. It was very very weird. Um, uh, and that kind of overly spiritual stuff just continues all week, I think, with the moon applying to Mars and Pisces. Just kind of could be problematic situations going on during the day. People not being kind, just like being like recklessly aggressive. And I've also seen just like a kind of spiritual aggression come from people that they think, I don't know, will just not be noticed. It's kind of like a subterranean type thing, and like gaslighting and like people lying and throwing each other under the bus. It's kind of like the kind of Mars, Neptune, Pisces stuff I expect. So, I mean, don't want anybody to do that to you. And it'll be kind of like weirdly painful with the Moon Chiron thing. So on Tuesday, pretty weird, bad feeling day. The night chart people probably will do better with that, but it is the Moon square during the day. So throughout the rest of that day, the Moon is just applying to Saturn, so we have Mars and Saturn with the Moon's light. I mean, just doesn't really feel very good going on in the beginning of the week. Feels kind of bad. So the Moon is applying to Jupiter after that, in Gemini. So the Moon has been in Gemini this whole time, with Mercury stationary, probably starting to see what we're going to be reviewing. Things just seem to be slowing down, and I don't know, things are like glitching out, and it's very very weird. And the Moon is like in the midst of all of that, just like dealing with different kinds of bad circumstances with Mars and then Saturn. But I think like the commitments we've put in, especially like during the Mars Saturn conjunction time, definitely are still in play. Nobody's given up on that. I would hope not. Whatever you had to commit to at that time to go through with. I mean, we're still going through with all that. It's just like momentary, like could just be angry or be like despairing, just like kind of everywhere in between. This kind of like spiritual fog overlaying everything. And Mars connects to Uranus with a sextile here, and that, I don't think that feels too good. Mars is in Pisces. It's just something like things are changing very quickly, very rapidly. Mars changes things quickly. Uranus is happy for things to change. Back to that Mars-Saturn stuff, I feel like, Saturn, if you're a day chart person, has had an agenda to really like limit things in this area. And Mars there, kind of, if Mars was speaking to Saturn like a person, like it's kind of like, oh, well, you want to do the bare minimum, or like bring things to a bare minimum here, like the minimum structural that needs to be. Let's do that really quickly. It's kind of the Mars Saturn thing. It's like let's very quickly bring you to this limit of an extreme of extreme limit, or maybe a the bare minimum, coming to that very quickly. And I think we've been at that place, which is like neither good or bad, like neither good for neither the day or the night people, I think. And it's quite a different difficulty we've been going through since then, and I think the Moon is really caught up in that here. But there is like a sense of like things still being buoyed up nevertheless, because I mean Jupiter is ruling pretty much the whole chart now. So Jupiter and then Mercury are doing the whole thing. So even though there's so much chaos and it's very like not fun, I think that there's like an overarching good, maybe, or like there's a sense of goodness kind of dominating the circumstances anyway. just continuing on in faith with what you're doing. Even if, we're not doing too much now, maybe with Mercury stationary. That might be more of a me thing, being like a Mercury, especially being like a Virgo person, having both the 1st and the 10th being ruled by Mercury. It's very personal, and it shows up on like what I'm doing very clearly when Mercury is not moving. But the moon will move into Cancer and apply a square to Venus, which I think will feel nice at the end of the day, kind of finding some way to be comfortable, even if it's like, Venus in detriment, square to Venus. It's kind of desperate in a way to feel comfortable and find. I think there's still like a since Jupiter's ruling that part of the chart, Aries, by disposition. I think it is still there. It's just kind of, you have to go for it, and maybe you don't want to do that, especially with Jupiter in Pisces. I get that. So the sun will be on Uranus, and the sun, like we talked about earlier, is pretty close to the North Node. It's actually kind of far away from the North Node, actually, and it will take a while to get there, even though we had this eclipse. It's at 22 degrees. So all of this week, the moon is moving towards the North Node. The sun is moving towards the North Node. It's on Uranus, just being very over-exaggerated with, like, it's just, like, weird stuff with the sun themes. And since the sun is so afflicted and the moon reflects the light of the sun, I feel like all of the circumstances we're going to be going through have this eclipse energy and this Uranus energy reflected onto them. It's very erratic, very I think it's uncomfortable, but anyway, that is Thursday. So the moon is just in Cancer, applying square to Chiron. So we're learning something, and it's not fun. It's painful, and it's just not. It's not nice. But the moon is at least. Let's see. Put the moon in Cancer here. The moon is applying to Mars. The chart says it's applying to Chiron because we have that turned on, but I feel like the moon is going to be receiving this light from the sun and Mars as well, as much as it is from Chiron. So it's kind of all day, like, applying from a very wide angle to Chiron, Uranus, the sun, Mars, which is just like a new dimension of dealing with these uncomfortable stuff. Like, the sun is afflicted, Mars has an easy outlet for the moon, which is like not good for the moon, I think, for day chart people. And Mercury, Venus is at a standstill in a way. Like, Mercury is so slow, and then Venus is moving so fast. So maybe that's like some comfort for Mercury. Like, that's like, I feel like Mercury is going through it this week, as it can be with Mercury. Maybe bonifying Mercury in some way, and that kind of perfects. Like, maybe that's like kind of carrying us through all week. Mercurials like have this like Venus and Aries thing going on. Anything mercurial. And then the moon is just applying to, well, let's go into Friday. So that like all perfects in the middle of the night, and then the moon is just applying to Neptune and Pluto and Jupiter all day from a wide angle. So I feel like the moon is, again, not doing very much, perhaps like when Americans are going to be thinking about doing business, which is not really happening either, I think. Okay, Friday is it's a weird day with like the moon applying to the nodes. So it's like faded towards like where things are going with the lunar eclipse, which is like pretty much slated to be more uncomfortable, more disruptive, probably more end up being more damaging than the solar eclipse was. So like we're aware of that, and it's just kind of a weird day with the moon applying to Neptune and Cancer. And in the morning on Saturday, the moon perfects that trine to Jupiter, which helps some I guess, but and I don't know how to read that Sun Mars aspect either, if that's good or bad. I think that definitely depends. But it is like a cooperative aspect, at least, between the Sun and Mars. And the moon in Leo, to end the week, is just applying to Mercury and Venus. So I think that feels pretty good. Maybe not, though, with Mercury being so afflicted. Probably Mercury, I don't know, I guess we have some chance to do a mercurial type activity. I'm not really sure about that, though. Mercury is stationary, so it's at least a part of the time, though. Like somehow that stationary Mercury is active on Saturday all day, really. And then the trine to Venus was something. I don't know if it's really what we want. I don't know if there's much getting what we want this week. Like maybe we've been able to get what we want despite the painful circumstances. Let's take a look at the other side of the chart, though. So Venus is there. Saturn is so late in Aquarius that I don't think we really see Venus doing much with Saturn until the end of May, and that won't be fun either. Maybe it'll be more fun than less, I guess, with having Venus there at least. I guess Venus there will be kind of like providing some help with the Saturn difficulty, hopefully, at that point. But we'll be in Gemini season by then. Okay, let's back it back up. Oh snap, you all. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get this out to you. I'll have to I've got problems, definitely, with all my 6th house stuff, and I'll do my best to get this out, but I also am not gonna try too hard either. If it's just weirdly not possible. If it becomes possible, then I will. But let's see. So that's Saturday. Taking a look at next week. Jupiter Aries. That's something. But it starts during Mercury retrograde, which is very, very not business. That's not getting it done in a business sense. Probably not. I wouldn't expect so. So I don't really know how to read that either. That'll be interesting. And the sun will be on the North Node on Friday the 13th, next Friday. So some intense. The mood, the energy, it just keeps getting more intense, I think, being in the middle of eclipse season. So, well, you all, I hope that was good. I hope that helped you somehow. Probably helped me. I guess we could have we probably all know that this week is just kind of crazy, and it's all over the place, and the energy is not great, but there it is. So thank you for listening this far, if this gets to you, and I appreciate your help and you watching my videos and my other media and such things. I do appreciate it, and I hope it's good for you. So make the best of it, and I'll see you later. Bye.